Okay, time for part 5, and I think most likely the final part of this DVD and Blu-ray update. So this first item is actually just a reacquisition because, as I said, I'm not a big fan of the packaging that my original version of this set came in, so I wanted to get more traditional stuff. So I re-got the James Bond movies, but if you're curious as to what edition that I got, I actually got the edition that included everything up until Skyfall, so that meant that I didn't get a duplicate of the bonus disc, but since I already had the bonus disc in that book set, what I did was I took the bonus disc out, put my duplicate of Skyfall in that set, and then I just gave that set to my dad. So that takes care of on that situation. That being said, though, there is another version of this set that was made in like black packaging that has like the dots from the gun barrel sequence doing something I think similar to this, and that has a different bonus disc in it, but thankfully about 75% of the content, actually 75, more like 90% of the content that is on that bonus disc is on the bonus disc that I've got, and most of the stuff that isn't, I was actually able to track down, including a couple of documentaries. I don't know if I'll post the link in the description because when you're trying to go backward and forward on DVDcompare.net, that's kind of tricky to do. So I'll probably just copy and paste the exclusive stuff and what you can do about that. Now, this next thing that I'm going to show you is a TV show that I partially reviewed on here, but never finished, owing to the fact that this show is way too darn complicated to do anything other than binge watch it, and even then you still have to take notes. And when I was watching it, they just took forever to release the seasons. Like, I remember when they got to like the 7th or 8th season, they actually took a year break with the show, which to me was kind of ridiculous because they could have met the original deadline, but now I have the complete series of, and could do a genuine viewing of Game of Thrones. And yes, I am fully aware that the 8th season is totally known for being infamous, because that's the only season that doesn't have an overwhelmingly positive rating, despite the fact that the series became different than the books relatively early on, and then it caught up to the books part of the way through. But you gotta remember, George R. Martin was heavily involved with the show. Like, he was the one that went to HBO in the first place to try and get his novel series made there, even though he's been working on the latest book in the series for pretty much the entire time that the show was in production, and he still doesn't seem to be anywhere close, and has admitted that if he passes away before he finishes it, he doesn't want anyone else to continue it. So, between all those things, you're just going to have to accept that Game of Thrones Season 8 is going to stay there. Now, I know what you're thinking, but hey, Zack Snyder was able to release his cut of Justice League. Well, that was because he had already filmed the darn cut. All of the material existed. Okay? Oh, but Star Wars is going through a phase where everyone is saying decanonize the sequels. That's because the sequels were a reboot of the franchise where you decanonized all the comic books and novels that people have been enjoying for 20 plus years. Huh? And if you have multiple versions of Dune that are being made, what's to say that Star Wars doesn't have another canon revamp? I totally expect them to be remaking Star Wars at some point while I'm alive. I'm 28, people. I should be around for 60 more years. That's enough time. And that's a low estimate, okay? All signs indicate that I should actually be living into my mid-90s. This item is an upgrade to a horror movie that I rather like, so I'm just going to show it to you. Scream Factory edition of Event Horizon. Not much more that I can say about that, although, according to what Zarnizarek said, it seems like they don't do a good job indicating that there's a lot of new stuff on the back. I was actually lucky that I even learned about that set. Now, this next batch of things that I'm going to show you is something that I alluded to in a prior part, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I got a lot more Friday the 13th stuff, because when I heard that Scream Factory was making a limited edition set for this franchise, I did some poking around and I found a channel that had uploaded just about every special feature from that set, so I downloaded like everything I could, but nonetheless I bought Jason X, and yes, this is the corrected version. You have to like read the wording that's along the exterior of this, but I assure you that this is the correct version to have, though I need to buy myself some discard of this, but I know how to get that ordered to me. Then I got the 2009 remake, and I really like this cover art, much better than the other version that I had. That wasn't horrible, but this is way better. I also picked up the bonus discs from the set, ironically from the same seller I got this. Then I bought Crystal Lake Memories, the documentary, but I also downloaded it, along with his name was Jason. But then I did some poking around, and I actually got the bonus disc for this thing, and I got really lucky that I was able to win that auction. I was not actually expecting to win that auction, and I had to pay about $40 for it. But yeah, I did. I have the disc in here, but I keep this so that I know I have it. So hopefully at some point I figure out how to rip stuff so that way I can rip the disc and then either upload it to someplace or send it around to other people, because it seems like there's some good stuff on here, but it just isn't available. Because most of the torrent sites that I found, either they don't work or I can't figure out how to work them. Now, this next batch of stuff is another franchise that I got into kind of by chance, even though I did watch this movie back when I had my first channel. Didn't care for it, but I think that was because I was too young to appreciate the satire behind it, and now that I'm older, I'm really curious to do a comparison of all the different things that are in this franchise, both movie and TV shows. So I got the RoboCop franchise, at least all the films that have been made up until this point. So we've got the 2-disc Arrow edition here. Actually, this might be 1 disc. It might be the limited edition that's 2 disc, but either way, it turns out that limited edition actually has a couple things that are exclusive to it. Most of it isn't a big deal because it's just different versions of the movie or showing different cuts of scenes from the movie side by side, but as it turns out there's also a gag reel there that I can't find. But if that's the only real thing I'm missing, I'm gonna just take the hit this time, because I don't think it's worth tracking down that limited edition. But even though this is the best single edition of the movie to get, it doesn't actually have everything from all the old DVDs or Blu-ray, so you actually need to get Blu-ray? You need to get this Blu-ray of the original movie. I can't tell you exactly what's exclusive because I don't know for sure, but there you go. That isn't too hard to get, unlike these two. It's not, oh my god, hard, but you're gonna have to do a little bit of hunting for a good deal on them. But I am intrigued to see the scoop with these two movies, especially since apparently the guy that made this movie is the same guy that did Empire Strikes Back. So I'm curious to see a little more about his style. And yeah, I know that most people say that this is crap and it's way too family friendly, but the remake here also was called that, and a couple of the TV shows also made into more friendly stuff. And I downloaded all 4 of the TV shows along with the making of features for the live action TV shows. You can find one of the live action TV shows on DVD, but you gotta buy like international releases and they're extremely expensive. And then the other live action TV show, which is actually a series of short movies that are all like, I want to say 80 minutes a piece, something like that. You end up paying $10 per volume when there's no special features besides a European set which has a making of bit. So I just decided, for once, I'm not going to get the official release. I'm just going to download everything. So I've got all the films minus the one that they're working on right now, and then I have all the TV shows downloaded. There you go. These next 2 things that I'm going to show you are different versions of a Disney movie that I've been into for a long time, but I wanted to properly complete the experience, so I got the signature edition of the original Aladdin and the live-action version of Aladdin. Even though I've already got the Diamond edition of this, as with Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King, this has exclusive features, albeit compared to those other 2, it's a really small amount of exclusive features. I think it's literally like 2 things. Although one of them I think runs for a pretty long length. And then this, well, let's see if it's as a lot of people have said it is. Now, this next thing that I'm going to show you was actually a rather surprising upgrade that I did, because I was not expecting to be able to get this edition of the movie on Blu-ray ever, because it's been out of print for so long. But I guess at some point they must have found like a box of these or whatever, because the price for this on eBay went down to the point that I was comfortable getting Watchmen The Ultimate Cut on Blu-ray. And as I think I've mentioned, there's no difference between this and the DVD counterpart, but it's nice to finally have everything Watchmen on Blu-ray. That's really nice. Now, we're at the point where I can do rapid-fire catch-ups, so Watchmen being the very first DC thing that I've shown you, I picked up a whole bunch of other DC stuff. So I got Birds of Prey, the extended version of the Justice League, and yes, I'm aware that this is 4x3, whatever. Snyder chose to do it. He must have had a reason, although I'm really unclear as to what it is. The articles did a piss poor job explaining it. Wonder Woman 1984. The Suicide Squad, Shazam. Then I also got Teen Titans Go vs. Teen Titans, so now I have everything that includes the original Teen Titans cartoon people, and this is probably going to be the only thing of Teen Titans Go that I end up getting, but I keep saying that I'm not going to check out certain things on this channel, and then I end up checking them out years down the line, so who knows, we'll see if that's the case. Then I finally upgraded, wait a minute. I think I actually showed this one to you. Okay, well I think I've already shown you this. I could be wrong. If I haven't, then I haven't. Well, it's an upgrade now, but the main reason that I ended up finally getting that upgrade was because I heard this was finally getting a Blu-ray release. Right, although I'm probably going to want to rebuy the DVD set of this that I've got, because this costs a bit of a pretty penny and I don't trust it to go down, whereas I do trust that my complete Batman Beyond DVD set is fine. because there's a few things I have in the collection that even though I have on Blu-ray, I'm probably going to want on DVD as a backup. And now, last but not least, Rapid Fire Marvel updating. So this one requires a little bit of an explanation. So I got a burned copy of the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, along with a documentary that was made about the movie. And by the way, there's a book of the same title that's out there that I'll probably snag. And I got these things from an eBay seller that seems to be circling around eBay in different names, but this seems to be an actual product because I don't know how well you can see that, but this seems to be loaded with some stuff. And get this, I actually ended up getting this bonus disc that is actually underneath that I think has even more special features. So it's going to be really interesting to learn a little more about this movie, because I'm really thinking that this is going to be a lot more interesting than this, especially since I think the copy of the movie that I downloaded years back actually looked better than what's on here. That's amusing, isn't it? Okay, other rapid fire movies. We got Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, which I've been told is actually more or less an animated version of the Doctor Strange movie, but the reason I have this is because the eBay seller mistakenly sent it to me when he should have sent this, but he was generous enough to actually send me this after that mistake, and even then I left the seller positive feedback because I was going to be checking this out anyway, so you've made it that much easier, you know? Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 for Ragnarok. I cannot pronounce that for the life of me. Black Panther. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Captain Marvel. Spider-Man Far From Home. And then finally, Shang-Chi Legend of the Ten Rings. So that's all the Marvel Cinematic movies that I can actually buy on Blu-ray up until this point, and it seems to be that's also the case for all the DC Extended Universe. So yeah, I've got a lot more superhero movies in the collection. Yes, I'm missing a few things, like I know that there's a couple DC products I'm missing, but I can't name them off the top of my head. And then I still need to re-get the latest Fantastic Four movie. I need to buy another edition of Fantastic Four 2004. I need to pick up New Mutants, Dark Phoenix. You get the idea, but that's one heck of a dent into the superhero catching up bit, which I'm glad to have done. Oh, finally, I finished this update. Yes. See ya.